When our daughter was a baby, some friends told us proudly how they had finally gotten their baby to sleep. They said, "We put her down, closed the door, and didn't go in, no matter how much she cried." It was hard at first. She screamed for about 10-20 minutes, but then she stopped. And now she sleeps through the night. They were so relieved, so proud. And I stood there thinking, of course she stopped crying. She didn't learn to sleep. This is part 2 of my series on the family bed. And today I want to talk about something that a lot of parents do with the best intentions, but that I believe does real damage. This is my honest opinion, and I'm going to back it up with facts that might surprise you. If this topic is hard for you, stay with me. There's something at the end of this video that I really need you to hear. I'm Karin Schreiber, and this channel is for Christian moms who want biblical habits that bring peace, purpose and joy into motherhood. If you're a mama wrestling with questions about sleep, yours or your baby's, I make a new video every week for you. Hit subscribe so you don't miss one. Let me be clear about what I mean by sleep training. I'm talking about when you put your baby down, leave the room and let them cry. Sometimes you go back in after a few minutes, sometimes you don't. The idea is that the baby will learn to self-soothe and fall asleep alone. And it works. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. Babies do stop crying. They do fall asleep. But here's what I believe is actually happening. The baby is not learning to soothe itself. It's learning that nobody comes. That's not independence. That's not self-soothing. That's a baby who has understood that crying doesn't bring help. And what happens inside a child who learns that their voice doesn't matter, that their needs won't be met, is something I want every parent to know about. In the 1940s, an Austrian psychoanalyst named René Spitz studied babies in orphanages. These babies were physically cared for. They had food, they were clean, they were warm. But they had no consistent person who held them, comforted them, or responded to them. No closeness, no emotional bond, just basic care. In the first month, the baby still cried. By the second month, they started losing weight. By the third month, they stopped crying altogether. They refused physical contact. They stared at nothing. And within 2 years, more than a third of them died. Died, not from hunger, not from disease, from the absence of love. Spitz called it hospitalism, and it proved something that every mother already feels in her gut. Closeness is not a luxury. It's as vital as food and water. Without it, children don't just struggle, they can die. Now let me tell you something that most people don't know. The idea of letting babies cry it out, of not picking them up, not comforting them, not responding to their needs, didn't come from science. It started in 1934. A German woman named Johanna Haarer wrote a book called The German Mother and Her First Child. She was a lung doctor, not a pediatrician. She had no training in child development, but the Nazi regime loved her book. It was incorporated in a national training program of German mothers. At least 3 million women went through this program by 1943. Haarer wrote, and I quote, "Do not pick the child up from his bed. Do not carry him around. Cradle him, stroke him, hold him on your lap, or even nurse him, because otherwise," her words, "a tiny but implacable house tyrant is formed." A tyrant. That's what she called a baby that wants to be held. The goal of this book was not healthy children. The goal was obedient citizens, children who expect nothing, who don't cry out, who learn early that their needs don't matter. And her own daughter, Gertrude Haarer, said in a television interview years later, "It apparently traumatized me so deeply that I thought I could never raise children." This book was sold until 1987, and its ideas live on in every sleep training method that tells you to close the door and let your baby cry. If you need God's truth to hold on to when parenting feels overwhelming and confusing, I made a free set of 20 biblical declarations for Christian moms. Words to speak over yourself and your family. The link is right below this video. I want to be very clear. This is my conviction, my personal position. I believe sleep training teaches children that their voice doesn't matter, that their needs are inconvenient, that the people who love them the most will not come when they call. I believe it can damage a child's basic trust, what we call Urvertrauen in German. The deep foundational belief that the world is safe and that I am not alone in it. God gave us our children, knowing they would be completely dependent on us. Babies are not like some animal babies that can walk and feed themselves from day one. Human babies are designed for closeness. Their need for our presence is not a flaw to be trained away. It's how God made them. Now, I need to pause here, because I know that some of you watching this have done sleep training. Maybe you're doing it right now, and what I just said might feel like a punch in the stomach. So let me speak directly to you, and I need you to really hear this. You are not a bad mother. You did what you knew. You did what someone told you was right. You did what you could in a moment of complete exhaustion. Every single mama makes decisions she would make differently if she knew then what she knows now. Every single one, including me. 2 Corinthians 12:9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. God doesn't need you to be perfect. He never expected that. He meets you in your weakness, not with judgment, but with grace. And Romans 8:28. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Everything, even the mistakes, even the things you wish you could undo. God is bigger than any parenting decision. He can heal what we got wrong. He can restore what was broken. And your love for your child, the fact that you're even watching this video tells me everything about your heart. So please, no guilt, just new information. And from today, a new choice if you want one. Mama, your baby is not manipulating you. Your baby is not a tyrant. Your baby is calling for the one person God designed them to need. And that's you. And when you go to them, every time, you are not spoiling them. You are teaching them the most important lesson they will ever learn. When I call, someone comes. I'm not alone. I matter. In part 3, I'll share the practical side, how we built our family bed, how we kept our marriage alive, and how the sleeping situation changed as our kids grew. Make sure you subscribe right now so you don't miss it. What's your honest experience with this topic? Tell me in the comments, whether you co-sleep, whether you tried sleep training, whether you still figure it out. Let's talk soon.